Oh, yeah, baby. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 225. Seems even just weird saying it. 225 of Cocktails in the War Room. And after we celebrated our third anniversary just last week, we are now in our fourth year of the War Room. So welcome to the War Room family. I'm your host, Mistress Carrie. For anybody that doesn't know, welcome to the War Room. If this is your first time, you got to let us know you're joining us for the first time. And you also got to let us know where you're joining us from so that the War Room family, as they have nicknamed themselves, can welcome you properly. And for anybody that's new or anybody that's not new, you know exactly who this is. She's sitting next to me, my big pain in the ass, begging for cookies as always, Wednesday the Goth Pug, which is where you can find her on Instagram, especially when I'm trying to watch television late at night and she's clawing at me because I won't continue to pet her, which I've created a monster. I think anybody that works from home, anybody because of COVID, hold on, let me adjust her camera. I think all of our animals are spoiled now because we're around them so much more than maybe we would not have been if the pandemic didn't happen. And because Wednesday was not even 2 years old, which is kind of crazy that her 5th birthday is coming up next month on a Tuesday, she's so spoiled because I'm just around all the time. So if you're new to the War Room, welcome. This is what we do every Tuesday night at 8:30 with very few exceptions. We get together here in the War Room. We watch Wednesday Beg for Cookies and we talk about music, talk about current events. Bruins are up 2-1. Mark is keeping us up to date with what's going on during the Bees game. And basically we just this is how we keep up with the world at large and also with each other and find out how we're all doing. Hey, shush. Support each other when it's necessary. Celebrate each other when something good comes up. Will says, aloha from West Roxbury. What's going on, everybody? Jessica says, Wednesday is so cute. Stop giving her compliments. It goes right to her head. Greetings from Washington, says Carol. DC or state, Carol? Which Washington are we talking about? Elsa says, Walter, give me a shot of blueberry cobbler. Yeah, exactly. Christine checking in. Keith is here. Mr. Fitz, what's going on? Elsa's here. Rachel is here. Let's see. Lou says, hello, everyone. Carol says Washington State. Carol, you're supposed to be working. You're on the West Coast, right? Or are you just getting done? How does that work? I always wondered what that would be like living in central or the mountain time zones, because on the East Coast, we're used to kind of everything being catered around us. National televised events, award shows, football games. Stuff starts super early for you guys on the West Coast because they start everything kind of when it's the most convenient for the East Coast TV markets. I guess there's more big markets on there. I don't know, but I always thought that was kind of weird that, we're watching things at like 8 or 9 o'clock at night and other parts of the country are forced to watch it like at the end of the workday. But I guess, for something like the Oscars where, it starts at 8 o'clock on the East Coast, so it's 5 o'clock on the West Coast, and that's how they're able to have all the parties after, because literally the Oscars are done by like 9 o'clock and everybody goes out and gets drunk. So day over, says Coral. That's fantastic. Cannot wait for May 6th, says Jonathan. Wait, what's going on May 6th? There's too many dates. There's too much stuff. Oh, May 6th is our event. I'm like, wait, what's going on? Yeah, May 6th is our event, which we'll talk about if you don't know exactly what's going on. I'll run down all the details of the War Room going on the road on deployment on a rare Saturday night show. So we'll talk about that coming up. Carrie, how's your mom? Elsa wants to know. Had a conference call with her nurses yesterday. Weight is up. Good week. Everything's good. As of right now, everything's all right. So, hey, come over here. Come over here. Come on. Sit down. High five. Not jump. What was that? You jumped and didn't give me the high five, you weirdo. Let's see. Will says, it's so sweet. I was living in Cali for the Red Sox opening day. It was 11:30 in the morning. Fantastic. Drink for that, says Keith. Yes, I'm sorry. There's some shows that got announced today. There's a lot going on, but I know what you meant. We'll get there. Thomas wants to know, you coming to the boat again? No, Thomas, actually, we're doing a veterans event at an American Legion, and I got all the details coming up. It's also on the event calendar at mistresscarrie.com if you're not going to be able to stay through the whole show, but all the details are there. And we're hoping that everybody comes and joins us. Civilians, active military, veterans, loved ones of veterans. If you got a friend that's a veteran, if you work with veterans, like whatever it is, it's open to everybody. We're hoping to get everybody out. Jessica wants to know how my shoulder is. So the shoulder is getting better. I can tell you that the other day I had to have hey, will you stop? No. So I have this really cool, like mid-century clock, and I had to find a clock guy to fix it because it's a hardwired, like installed clock in the house, and not something you just pop batteries in and out of. Basically, with all of the power outages that we've had, this clock kind of got the crap kicked out of it by switching between the power from the street and the backup generator for the house. And a couple of the gears in the clock broke from the stopping and the starting and all of that. So I had to find a clock guy, which for things like that, cobblers, clock guys, like there are certain professions that you don't hear about, like young people going into the business. So I had to like find a clock guy. Found one. He's amazing. If anybody needs to get like a clock fixed, like you bring the clocks to him unless it's like a grandfather clock, and then I think he'll come to you by appointment. But anyway, I got the clock fixed, brought it home, and went to go hang it back up on the wall, and it's kind of big and heavy. Had to get some help to do it, and my arm got really, really tired holding the weight of the clock above my head while I was trying to hang it back on the wall. And it really made me realize that as I'm getting the mobility in my shoulder back, which it is coming back extremely slowly. We're a year into the shoulder injury now. What I'm realizing is that the strength is not coming back quickly. So I'm hoping that with springtime here now and all the work I'm going to have to do in the yard, especially with all the tree limbs that have come down in the last few weeks, I'm hoping to be able to kind of utilize the yard and all of the yard work as a little bit of extra physical therapy to try and get some of that strength back. But just brutal. Will wants to know, did you go and see Bruce on Sunday? It's talking about Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band at the Garden. I did not, but I had a lot of friends that were there that sent me a lot of pictures and video, and heard the show was amazing. Then he had to go to DC because he received an award from the president today, along with Julia Louis-Dreyfus and Jose Feliciano. Bruce Springsteen got an award today recognizing excellence in art and culture, which I thought was really cool. So let's see. Did you find the clock guy in time? Is there an age limit for the get-together? No, it's family friendly. I mean, I don't know how much stuff like there's going to be for the kids to do, but it's going to be at an American Legion. So it definitely, you know, the bar is on one side, the function hall is kind of on the other. So stop. No. I just won the stare-off game. Walter, fix the damn clock. So yeah, it is open to any ages, but like little kids, like there's not going to be a playground or anything. I think, you know, teenagers, preteens or whatever, they'll probably get bored with us after a bit, but they can 100% come. The event's from 5 to 9, so it's not like it's going to be a super late knit thing. Lou says, take it slow. You don't want all of that progress to go backwards. Trust me. The last thing I want to do is have all of the progress go backwards. Mark says the drop kicks on St. Patrick's Day. Fucking awesome. Were you at the show, Mark, or did you watch the stream? Which way did you see them? Either way, they're great. The Dropkick Murphys have really kind of led the charge when it comes to live streaming concerts. They've done so many of them through the pandemic and really did a spectacular job with the streaming platforms and all of that stuff. So good evening, War Room family, says Don. What's up? Lou says, went and saw Bruce Springsteen last night, scored a ticket behind the stage. It was awesome. Ralph says, hey, sorry I'm a little late. All good. I won't get bored, says Jessica. It's fine. It's all good. Can I have your paw? No, can I have your paw? Other one. High five. High five. No. High five. Hey. High five. Good girl. Let's see. I was at MGM on St. Patrick's Day. Awesome venue. Yeah, for anybody that hasn't been, some of the newer venues, the Big Night Live down by the Garden, which has Static X and Fear Factory and everybody tonight. Totally wanted to go to that show, but called in to do some extra shifts for the network this week. So between that and being here with you guys and having some editing stuff to do, I couldn't go. But Big Night Live is great. Roadrunner's great. MGM Music Hall is great. We're very lucky that we have got these new music venues and all of these new places for us to see shows. The Palladium Outdoors, which isn't brand new, but within the last 5 years, being able to go and see outdoor shows in downtown Worcester is spectacular. Mike says, jealous, the shoulder's blown now. You need 24/7 supervision. Mike, this has been going on for like a year. So, yeah, frozen shoulder syndrome and a partial rotator cuff, according to the ortho. Not if Wednesday was there, Jessica, I will see. I still have not committed as to whether or not Wednesday is going to be allowed to come to the War Room thing, but we'll see. Keith says, I will only accept Carrie's answer, and even then I might not listen. If you're talking about wearing pants, look, it's not me you need to worry about. It's all of the people at the Legion that you're going to have to worry about if you try to walk in there without pants on. Now, Keith, I also say that understanding that you're probably not going to be the first person to be pantsless at an American Legion. But my voice didn't recover until Sunday, says Mark. Yeah, I have to learn how to do things like go to Vegas and go to back shows and not lose my voice. You would think my voice would be able to handle it, but I have always had a problem with getting laryngitis. And I don't know if it's just the amount of use and abuse that it gets on a daily basis, that the extra use and abuse it gets by going to all of the extra shows. I don't know if that's what it is, but I have that problem too. Keith says, what's up all? Can't stay work, but I just wanted to pop in, give you an update on me. Haven't been able to sleep well since my dad passed away, and I've been on medication for depression. I hope everyone is well. Miss you guys. See ya. Keith, we're sending you love. We know that with your dad passing, it's been a little tough, and we're all thinking about you, and we're here for you if you need anything. I mean, there's really nothing else I can say except to offer our support and our love. We've gone through so many things over the last 3 years here in the War Room, and unfortunately, more often than not, we're mourning the loss of a loved one. So, hey, they're all gone. The cookies are gone. Shush. Shh. I have to show her my empty hands. Otherwise, she thinks I'm hiding cookies. No, they're gone. There's no more. Done. Byron says, what's up, MC? How are you, Byron? Coral says, I always lose my voice. I guess I get really into it. Love live shows. Exactly. Let's see. Richard says, Keith, keep the faith. Exactly. We love you, Keith. Sending you hugs. Yeah, it's never, losing a parent is never easy. I mean, you guys talked me through getting the news that my dad had passed away. You guys have talked me through all of the stages of my mom's illness thus far. I've lost friends in the last few years, and none of that has gotten any easier, nor is it ever going to. You know, I've read a lot of things on processing grief, and I think the thing that I read that really hit home the most is that it's kind of a testament to how much you love the person by how upset you are that they're no longer here. And so if you're grieving someone, it means that they were very special to you and, that you really love them as much as you do. So Mark says, after 2, still Bruins 2-0, which is a good thing. Hold on, I suppose we could keep the happy anniversary banner up there because we're still celebrating 3 years, but I figured I would take it down. Let's see. Carrie, listener, since I was 10, got me through a lot of shit. Thank you for still being a voice of sanity during deranged times. Well, Chris, that shows you how deranged the times are when I'm the voice of sanity. That shows you exactly what we're talking about. Losing a parent is the hardest thing to go through. Jessica, I can't speak from experience, nor do I hope to ever have to deal with that. I would think the only thing that's harder than losing a parent is losing a child, because I think any parent would say, and any grandparent would say, that that's kind of the natural course and order, is that, the hardest thing about parenting is that, it's the legacy that you're not going to be around to see. There's an old, very famous quote about the strength of a civilization in that the leaders are willing to plant trees they know they will never live to see grown, or plant seeds they'll never live to see grow, or something like that. And so I think, any parent would say 100%, I would want to go before my kids. And so I think when you're a child losing a parent, you want to have as much time with them as you can. And it always seems that towards the end of someone's life, you seem to honor and cherish like minute to minute, day to day, which is a really good lesson for us because we tend to not cherish minute to minute, day to day when everyone's young and healthy. It's only when you feel like you're ready to lose something that you start kind of cherishing every moment. And there are a lot of people that have said they've gotten a cancer diagnosis, or they, have had a serious illness. And while, they didn't want it to happen, they also look at it as a gift eventually, because it forces their perspective and forces them to enjoy more of life in the now and to celebrate the good things and even the simple things, because life is just hard. Like, there's no getting out of it alive, obviously, and nobody's life is just easy. You get, moments of simplicity, but it's never easy for anyone. You're never at a point where you're without stress or worry or concern or pain or fear. Those things are always kind of there. I think the secret to life, to, the people that I've seen talk about these things, is to be able to manage that while still focusing on the beauty and the joy and the happiness of it all. And so that makes, family members that are still here worth everything. The legacies of the people that are gone, something special to be kept alive. And also, those days where you just wake up and you feel good and you're like, fuck the world, like get out there and make something of yourself. I have a friend named Gail who is always posting every Wednesday about it's Get Shit Done Wednesday. And, it always just makes me laugh because it's like this midweek pep talk from her that's like, I'm getting shit done. I hope you're getting shit done too. And we're going to take life by the balls today. So Wendy says, my granddaughter is taking guitar lessons, ordering her Mistress Carrie picks. Yay. Yeah, the picks are in. We'll talk about those coming up. Let's see. When my mom was diagnosed with stage 4 ovarian cancer, she learned not to sweat the small stuff. Jessica, that's what I'm talking about. And I'm not saying that anyone welcomes a serious illness. I'm not saying that people are like, oh, I'm so happy that I got sick and had this challenge in my life. But it is a way that kind of Mother Nature or God or whatever it is that you believe in kind of forces your hand to kind of slow down. And I think we all kind of learned that lesson a little bit when it came to COVID as well, because there were a lot of people, and you guys know it comes up in the podcast all the time, where we were forced to be home. And it was one of those things where it was like forced family fun time, forced time with our loved ones, forced time in the homes that we work so hard to keep up and pay for, and to enjoy the simple things, the board games, the jigsaw puzzles, the gardening in the yard. It's not all about bucket list vacations and all about, crazy parties, but it's also, the simple things too. So I think that's one of the reasons why, when we get in here and we talk about serious things, we're always trying to find, the good in the situation, the hope in the situation, the joy in the situation, because there's enough examples and reminders of how much it can suck. And there's no reason to kind of focus on that. So don't sweat the small stuff, just pet the sweaty stuff. I knew somebody was going to say it. You can't pick your friends, but you can pick a guitar. Let's see. Keith says, I tried to order Mistress Carrie picks, but couldn't find them on Pornhub. Ooh, I get the hiccups. No, that's OnlyFans, right? Oh my gosh. Chris says sunrises and sunsets, baby. Absolutely. I can't tell you how many times I've been out walking Wednesday and seen the light over my house, or been up in the morning, walking the dog, or watching the sun come up when I'm up that early, up over my garden. And I always try to be like, you know what, we're just going to take a minute to just enjoy it and just breathe, because we don't do that stuff enough. What's up, Travis? All right, so that's where we're at as far as the show goes right now. Wednesday's still looking for her cookies. But so for the event that we were talking about coming up on May 6th, this is what I'm talking about. The Vernon Hill American Legion Post 435 is hosting kind of a family membership drive, but it's basically an excuse for all of us to get together. And this is how I've been telling people, look, you've got friends you've been promising to get together with, battle buddies you haven't seen that you think about. You guys are always commenting on each other's pictures on Facebooks or Instagram and wishing each other happy birthday and like, hey, let's get together for that beer soon. This is when you do it. Plenty of time. It's, 6-7 weeks away. Reach out to those friends. Make the plans. Text each other the links. Send each other the flyer. Make this a meeting point. Hey, we're all going to meet up at the Legion. We're going to have a drink. You could win some great concert tickets. We're going to do a special episode of Cocktails in the War Room on deployment from 7 to 8 live from the Legion. So if for some reason you're not able to join us, you can join us during the show. But come out. There's going to be, I believe, a taco truck is going to be there. There's going to be some live acoustic music there. Andy Biggio, who wrote The Rifle, which, by the way, is getting version 2. There's a second book that's available for pre-order right now. He's going to be there signing copies of The Rifle, and there are going to be some of the World War II veterans that are subjects of the book that are going to be there as well. I don't know which ones, but that are going to be there as well to sign autographs and copies of the book as well. And then our friends at Regimental Whiskey are going to be there. Regimental Spirits, veteran owned. They're going to be there with signature cocktails hopping behind the bar. So there's going to be a little bit of something for everybody. If you don't drink, don't worry about it. The alcohol is not, the only focus of it. But there is going to be alcohol there for people that do drink. If not, there's going to be plenty of non-alcoholic beverages. And basically, it's an excuse for veterans of any era and age to get together. But definitely what the American Legion kind of communicated to me is that they don't have a problem getting the older guys and ladies together. The problem is getting the post 9/11 veteran generation to get together and kind of mobilize. And it's for a lot of different things. It's for the camaraderie. It's for the mental health benefit of being around people that understand. It's about the community and family connections. But there's also another really important component. The American Legions, the VFWs, the the AMVETS. These are all organizations that are there to lobby for your benefits and on your behalf, especially as you get older. And what always happens, and we've seen it happen with World War II veterans, with Vietnam veterans, obviously, who, we just haven't been able to get it right for those guys ever, is that as those veterans start getting older, it becomes harder and harder to be able to advocate for benefits. And you know that benefits change and the things that you need change as you age. And so if these organizations can't stay up and running with membership, then when you are as old as the Vietnam guys, no disrespect to the Vietnam guys that are watching, these organizations might not be there to advocate on your behalf. And so it's really about mobilizing our veterans community so that not only you guys can have each other's backs, but that the civilian population can also be involved with how to support you as well. So a special Cocktails in the War Room on deployment coming up Saturday, May 6th. The event is 5 to 9. The War Room is going to be from 7 to 8. You can get more details. Go to the event calendar at mistresscarrie.com. The address, everything is there. But it's the Vernon Hill American Legion, Post 435 in Worcester. And help me spread the word. Text the flyer to friends. Share the event. RSVP to the event on the Legion's page to give them a better, more accurate count on how many people they can expect. But there is plenty of parking. The Legion is nice and big. There's plenty of room at the bar. The function room is fantastic. The staff is great. All of the board is awesome there. So it's going to be a great night. So I'm super excited as well because we don't get together all that often. And we're going to be able to. Couple other opportunities for you guys to know where I'm going to be. Obviously, the big gig coming up fast, the end of next month, April 29th at the DCU Center. This year, the big gig hosted by Mike Shue and I once again, Breaking Benjamin, Falling in Reverse, The Pretty Reckless, Dorothy, and Beartooth. Tickets are on sale now. And also, tickets are on sale now. Oh, yeah, there's a typo. The tickets are on sale now for the Hairfest. It's not a pre-sale anymore. The tickets are on sale now. I just fixed it. Allow me to have a cocktail and pay the price for the typos. Okay. Mark says, Carrie, I want to buy you a drink. Trust me. We'll be having cocktails for sure. But these are a couple things, another couple reasons for us to be able to get together. Speaking of cocktails, if you're new to the show, we always go through the bartender books that I have here in the bar in the War Room. And we're always looking for cocktail recipes that might be a little different, that might put to use some of that weird booze that you have in the house that you don't know what to do with. It is springtime now. And so I wanted to do something that was a little bit fruitier now that the weather is starting to warm up and the first day of spring is here. This one's called the Dynamite. We don't hear cognac in drinks very often, but the Dynamite has cognac, a half an ounce of cognac, a half an ounce of Grand Marnier, and an ounce of orange juice and chilled champagne. So this is one of those drinks that you're not going to taste the booze, but it's going to knock your dick in the dirt because the champagne always has a way of kind of going to your head. The cognac as well, plus the Grand Marnier. Pour the cognac, the Grand Marnier, and the orange juice into a champagne flute and stir. So we're not shaking, we're stirring. And then fill up with the champagne and serve. And first of all, it's my opinion that if it's got orange juice and if it's got champagne in it, I think maraschino cherries are always welcome because that's what my sister and I do with our mimosas on Thanksgiving and Christmas morning when we get up early to cook. So this is called the Dynamite. It's got cognac, Grand Marnier, fresh orange juice, and champagne. And I thought that would be like a nice little brunch cocktail A nice little warm weather, maybe a hangover helper cocktail if you need that. The Bruins keep playing the way that they're playing. I think we're all going to need a hangover helper. So warm weather drink, G&T, gin and tonic, not my bag. Mr. Voorhees, it is. I just do not enjoy gin. Jonathan says it's not knocking anything off of me. Amanda says you have to watch Third and AM hating that I'm missing you. We're missing you too, Amanda. I don't know why you're missing me. I'm right here. Yes, it's very fancy, Lou. You have to drink the dynamite with your pinky out. Absolutely. Drinks with champagne are always good, says Mike. I will try that drink, says Elsa. And I'm not a big cognac person, but it's definitely with that and the Grand Marnier. I feel like it's something that's super refreshing and summery, but also something that's going to like warm you in here for sure. So Long Island iced tea sneaking up on you. That's what I'm talking about, that you're just sipping it and you're good. And, I'm just going to have a little, brunch. And then you're like, I'm not going to be able to get off the couch. It's like one of those things. So that's the cocktail recipe. All right, we got to recap this week's podcast episode. Every week we go over last week's podcast episode before I tell you who's on the show this week. Episode 145 featured William Duvall from Alice in Chains, who's collaborating on a new song called This Is Mongol Warrior Soul with the Mongolian kind of folk metal band, The Who. And normally they sing in Mongolian, but like Apocalyptica, they have also decided to start collaborating with guest vocalists and bringing in singers that are going to do English language versions of lyrics. And William Duvall talked a lot about the collaboration with The Who and the respect that the guys in The Who have of these very old traditional Mongolian instruments, the culture that they take so much pride in. We talked a little bit about William's kind of exposure to some of those instruments and the difficulties with touring with them. And then speaking of instruments, he also kind of walked me through the process of designing his own guitar, which you can see right there, which he calls the Talisman. And in this week, or in last week's podcast episode, he kind of told me that he got the idea for the design of his guitar in a hotel room with his wife. And that the shape of the body of the guitar is based on the shape of the body of the wife, which is very hot. So we had a great conversation. I really had never had a chance to sit down with just William. Anytime that I had ever met him or talked to him, it was always in the context of Alice in Chains. And so to be able to kind of take a deep dive into his life and upbringing and the musical career that he had leading up to developing the friendship with Jerry Cantrell and eventually being asked to become the front man for the band. But he's a really fascinating guy with a really interesting musical story. And he's so nice and so approachable and charismatic and just cool as fuck. So if you haven't listened to the episode yet, episode 145 of the Mistress Carrie podcast featuring William Duvall from Alice in Chains. And that episode available now. That makes room for this week's episode, which is something a little bit different. Episode 146 features Johannes Eckerstrom, and he is from the band Avatar, who is coming to Boston to play the Paradise Rock Club. And he is part of that whole kind of Scandinavian metal scene. There's other members of the Scandinavian kind of music scene and metal scene that are coming up on the podcast in the next few weeks. But Johannes, I had never met before. If you've never seen Avatar live, he's like a crazy court jester on stage. He's really tall. So anytime you see anyone really tall, somebody like Peter Steele, where it's just a really kind of looming and intimidating, I mean, everybody looks tall on stage anyway. Most rock stars are below average in height. And so when you see someone, I believe he's like 6'3" or 6'4", when you see someone that tall and kind of thin and dark and pale with the makeup and the screaming, it's a sight to behold. If you like metal, Avatar is one of those bands that just over the last few years has really been making a lot of noise. And they're coming to Boston. They're going to be at the Paradise. And they just released their new album, Dance Devil Dance. And, what's really funny is that the more I talk to musicians, it always seems that the heavier the music, the more calm and kind of approachable and nice that they are. And Johannes is really like mellow and chill and well-spoken. We talked a lot about the different languages that he speaks and that he's learning Italian right now. We talked about, the benefits of learning languages young. And he kind of attributes English as like the modern day Latin, meaning that it's a language that two people that don't speak the same language and are in a foreign country can communicate through English a lot of the time. And when you see these bands that travel around so much, to be able to kind of communicate through English, which is never something I really put any thought into because I grew up speaking English, but that was something that Johannes kind of pointed out to me. Just bought the rifle on Amazon. Thanks, Carrie. Chris, if you're just learning about the book now, Chris, go back through my old podcast episodes because Andy Biggio, the author of The Rifle, sat in for an episode of the podcast when the book came out. And we had a really long conversation about his military career, the veterans that he interviewed in the book, how the idea of the book came to be. So definitely use the podcast episode as a companion piece for the book. But the second book is available for pre-order right now. I loved The Rifle because every chapter is about a different veteran. So I found it to be really easy to pick up and read without a lot of commitment, that you could read a chapter when you had time and put it down. And even if you didn't pick it up again for a month, you're not picking up where the story left off. You're starting off on a new story of a new veteran. And it's a really easy read. And the stories are remarkable about what these World War II veterans, a lot of them local, but not all. The book also kind of goes into Andy Biggio, kind of the journey behind the rifle and the M1 Garand, and also his introduction to some of these veterans and their upbringing and how they ended up where they were and their stories. It's a fantastic book if you haven't listened to it yet. Jessica said Taylor Hawkins was 5'9". Yeah, and he looked kind of tall. A lot of frontmen are shorter. Guys like Bruce Dickinson, they look larger than life, but they're really not. And so when you see really tall rock stars, it's like, whoa, yeah. Okay, you realize, it's like when you stand next to basketball players, you realize how short you really are. And when it comes to rock stars, when you see a really tall one, you realize how short a lot of the other ones really are. Loved the guy that kept the Nazi teeth in his drawer, says Mark. Yeah, there's a lot of stories in The Rifle. And when we get together on May 6th, Andy Biggio is going to be there. And I believe he's bringing The Rifle with him. He may or may not. The thing's become so famous now that he's probably a little leery taking it out in public. But he's definitely going to be there signing books and also answering your questions about the books as well. Let's see. Tom says, Carrie, what's the topic tonight? Books, says Tom. Well, we're kind of talking about everything, Tom, but we were talking about the War Room event and how Andy Biggio is going to be there, who's the author of The Rifle, and that he was on the podcast. So that's kind of the tangent that we got off on. So, but maybe we could have a book club someday. If it was rock and roll autobiographies and memoirs, that would be cool. I believe there's actually a podcast in the Pantheon Podcast Network that literally just does that, a different episode about a different memoir and autobiography every episode, which is kind of cool. I have a hard time reading sometimes. I read a lot during the pandemic to manage stress and kind of take advantage of the quiet and the downtime, but the busier life gets, the harder it is for me to be able to kind of turn everything off and focus on the book, but I try. I've also been known to read trashy vampire books when I go on vacation because because that's what I do, damn it. So episode 146 of the Mistress Carrie podcast, Johannes Eckerstrom from Avatar. The episode goes live at midnight tonight. And you can also go to the events calendar, the concert calendar at mistresscarrie.com. And if you don't have tickets yet to go see him at the Paradise, you definitely want to grab those. Not only do you get the weekly episodes every Wednesday, but you also, with the podcast, get the sit rep Monday through Friday, all of your rock news, music headlines, entertainment updates, all of that. You get it in around 5 minutes, and you get that 5 times a week, whereas you get the podcast once a week. And then sometimes there's bonus episodes as well, which there could be a bonus episode coming in the next few weeks. I want to remind you guys about all of the different places you can listen to the podcast. It grows all the time. More and more podcast apps are getting launched all the time. And you can also listen to all of the episodes on YouTube. The newer episodes are getting put up there. I have not yet been able to finish getting all of the older episodes up on YouTube, but eventually all of the full-length episodes of the podcast are going to be up on YouTube. It's a little time consuming to get them all up there, but I am going to get them all up there. Coral says, I got Sally Erna's book. Fantastic story. My sister is in a book club. She likes it. Tom, a lot of the time the book clubs are just women using the book as an excuse to get together and drink wine, but whatever. If you listen to the podcast, we're still holding strong at 149 countries, which still blows my mind. Almost 3 years since the launch of the podcast back in June of 2020. That there's 149 countries represented in the audience of the Mistress Carrie podcast, which is kind of spectacular. So, all right, a show got announced today. A tour got announced today. Mudvayne at the Xfinity Center coming up Saturday, July 30th. Get this lineup. Coal Chamber, Gwar, Nonpoint, and Butcher Babies opening up for Mudvayne. Tickets go on sale Friday. The show, all the links, everything you need to know. This is the only New England show, by the way, are up on the concert calendar. Three Doors Down also announced the 20th anniversary of the 20th anniversary tour of Away from the Sun, which is their sophomore album, where that's the album When I'm Gone is on. And they're going out to celebrate the 20th anniversary of that album with Candlebox, who's celebrating the 30th anniversary of their debut album. They just announced a tour. However, they only have 2 shows in New England, and neither one of them are in Massachusetts. One is at the Bank of New Hampshire Pavilion in Guilford, New Hampshire. The other one, I believe, is at the Hartford Healthcare Amphitheater in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Those shows have been added to the concert calendar at mistresscarrie.com as well. So 149 countries. I'm very impressed. Thank you. Hello from Springfield, says Dave. Coal Chamber, so awesome. So I reached back out because I got to get Des Fafara from Coal Chamber back on the podcast. He was on, I think it was like episode 37 or something. But since he was on the podcast, he almost died of COVID. And Des talks a lot about that is kind of the springboard for this Coal Chamber reunion, is that Dez's wife had reached out to the members of Coal Chamber telling them, I don't know if Des is going to make it through the night because of COVID. Can you reach out to him? Can you text him? Because you might not get another chance. And as he slowly recovered from COVID, he said that he had a lot of non-music conversations with the guys from Coal Chamber. And that was kind of the reason behind this reunion that they're having right now and the festival shows that they're doing, which is pretty spectacular. So getting Des back on the podcast now that they've announced a new Devil Driver album, that Coal Chamber is going back out on the road. And also since he's recovered, when he was on the podcast, he was talking about nursing his wife back to health from cancer. Since he's been on the podcast, she then had to nurse him back to health from almost dying of COVID, which is crazy to me. So definitely got to get Des back on the podcast for sure. Jonathan says, my mom read her books. I've seen the movies based on them. Dirty Poetry is a pretty good book. Ivan Moody's first book. Yes, absolutely. And I love We're going to get the Geddy Lee book in May. We're going to get the Geezer Butler book that he told us about on the podcast. I think that was episode 99 or something. Geezer had just turned in the first draft of his book. His book is coming out in June. So there's a lot of books coming out. Soundgarden might get inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. One of Taylor Hawkins' wishes come true. So right now, Soundgarden is in the top 5 of the fan vote getters. That does not mean that they'll get in based solely on the fan vote. They take the fan vote into account, but it is not 100% the deciding factor. I think for me, I 100% believe that Soundgarden belongs in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but I really need Iron Maiden to get in there. And if there's one spot, I want Maiden to get it this year because they've been waiting a lot longer, and I want Iron Maiden to be able to get in the Rock Hall while they're still able to perform the songs at the induction ceremony. I think, unfortunately, when you lose a lead singer the way that Soundgarden did, we know that no matter what, the induction ceremony is going to feature the musicians in the band with guest vocalists. But I'm really hoping that there are going to be more than just one sacred spot for rock and roll, because I 100% believe that not only Maiden, but Warren Zevon, New Order belongs in there. I believe Rage Against the Machine belongs in there. I believe that Soundgarden belongs in there. I'm really curious about the White Stripes, because it's without question Jack White is going to get in there eventually because of the White Stripes and because of all of the other projects and just everything he's done centered around music, spearheading the resurgence of vinyl. But I'm curious, I don't think the White Stripes are going to get in this year, not ahead of Iron Maiden and Soundgarden or Warren Zevon, but maybe. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Let's see. I would like to see it. My hubby said Iron Maiden. Yeah, I mean, Maiden needs to get in there. You know, Rob Halford said that he hoped that Judas Priest getting in would kind of open the door for a lot of other metal bands to get in there. And I literally don't think there's anybody that believes that Iron Maiden isn't worthy. Like 100% they are. Speaking of Taylor Hawkins, guys, can you believe this Saturday is the 1-year anniversary of his passing, which it blows my mind that it's been a year. It feels like we were literally just in here talking about the tragic loss of him being a part of the Foo Fighters and wondering what the future of the Foo Fighters was going to look like. And it's a year this Saturday, March 25th, which is just insane. I believe Pantera also needs to be in there. Obviously, the original 4. I don't think Zakk Wylde and Charlie Benante would ever expect to get inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as part of Pantera. I mean, obviously, Anthrax should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So Charlie Benante is going to get in there. I think Zakk Wylde, just like Randy Rhoads got in for his work with Ozzy, I think Zakk, even if he got in as a solo artist outside of Ozzy and Black Label Society, I think just from his guitar virtuoso standing alone, I think Zakk needs to get in there too. But Pantera 100% belongs in there for sure. Warren Zevon, extremely underrated, most certainly deserves the honor. Lou, I couldn't agree more. Vinnie Paul passing seems like yesterday. Hell, to me, Dimebag Darrell passing seems like yesterday. It blows my mind when the anniversaries of the deaths of some of these guys comes up, that I get brought back, to exactly where I was at the time, more often than not in the studio talking about it as the news was breaking, and just kind of figuring out the passage of time. It just doesn't make sense to me. So, let's see. Who would sing for Soundgarden? Mark, I think in a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction scenario, I think they would bring in friends of Cornell. I believe one of Chris Cornell's daughters is a singer. I could see that happening. I think it would be something like a tribute show that they would play multiple songs with different singers. And it's happened before where they've brought in singers to pay tribute to bands where the lead singer wasn't there at the induction ceremony for sure. So Coral says time is an illusion. Yeah, exactly. Hold on, let me drink to that. Speaking of the Foo Fighters, Boston Calling coming up fast, Memorial Day weekend. The Foos, they're doing the warm-up gig that Wednesday night before Boston Calling at the Bank of New Hampshire Pavilion. And then they're doing Boston Calling the first night, the Friday night, with the Yeah Yeah Yeahs, the Lumineers, and Alanis Morissette, who Taylor Hawkins was the drummer for Alanis, on night number 2, and then Paramore and Queens of the Stone Age, which, by the way, the drummer from Queens of the Stone Age, one of the drummers rumored to be playing for the Foo Fighters, along with Matt Cameron from Pearl Jam and Soundgarden. So maybe on a show like this, Queens' drummer would come into town a couple days early, play with the Foos, then stick around, play with Queens a couple nights later. I don't know. It's a lot. And the Foos might not ever decide to replace the drummer completely. Dave is more than capable of playing the drums on the albums, and they might not want to bring in a new drummer of the band. They might just want to bring in a touring drummer when they decide to go on the road and kind of save the drummer of Foo Fighters moniker for Taylor Hawkins. I don't know, but Boston Calling coming up fast. Shows at Big Night Live. We know Static X and Fear Factory and Mushroom Head. That's happening tonight. Other shows that are coming up. Vili Valu, VV from him. He's going to be at Big Night Live coming up April 2nd. Enslaved on April 6th. Tarja on June 18th. All of those tickets are available now. The concert calendar is only getting more and more crazy all the time. The Xfinity Center, the Dave Matthews Band on June 17th. Party Gras, that's Bret Michaels' tour on July 21st. Mudvayne on July 30th. That just got announced with everybody from Cold Chamber and Guar, Nonpoint, the Butcher Babies. The tour is insane. Those tickets go on sale Friday. Jelly Roll, August 4th. Foreigner, August 5th. That one's with Loverboy as well. Disturbed with Ginger. More bands getting announced all the time on that tour on August 18th. Ghost on the 19th of August. And then Nickelback on August 22nd. And The Offspring also just announced their tour. And the last date of the tour is September 3rd at the Xfinity Center. Those tickets are going on sale this Friday as well. Blink-182, their reunion tour happening at the Garden May 21st. We were talking about Avatar at the Paradise on May 24th. Anvil at the Middle East on April 1st. Aaron Lewis at Foxwoods on April 22nd. And we also know that Stained is hard at work on new music. I think we can expect an announcement from Stained coming very soon. Godsmack at Mohegan Sun on May 28th. I think we can expect another announcement from those guys in support of their new album, Lighting Up the Sky. And every week I fix Coheed and Cambria. And for some reason, every week it comes back. It's Coheed and Cambria. And I don't know why that typo continues to come back. It's so weird. What else did I want to tell you guys? We're getting a big announcement from Mammoth WVH tomorrow. Wolfgang Van Halen's been taking to his social media, promoting March 22nd, 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. A big announcement coming from Wolfgang Van Halen and Mammoth WVH. So be on the listen for that. I'm assuming it's the announcement about the album and the release of the first single. We kind of know what he's going to be doing touring wise. He's going to be opening up for Metallica for the next 2 years. Palladium shows, including this Thursday, Pop Evil on the 23rd, Queensryche April 7th, Nothing More, who is also announced on that Mudvayne gig at the later on in the year. Not Nothing More. The brain is gone. Nothing More is coming to the Palladium. The show that I was talking about, hold on, where is the event that we were just talking about? Where is it? not nothing more. Hold on a second. What the fuck? Non-point. I just got non-point and nothing more confused. Sorry about that, Elias. My bad. Non-point is on the Mudvayne tour. Nothing more is coming to the Palladium. Wow, my brain just totally, hold on, let me take another sip of this cocktail. You guys got me with the time is an illusion thing tonight. Okay, nothing more coming to the Palladium. Wage War and Rival Sons. If you haven't seen these guys live, they're so good. And then Weezer Outdoors at the Palladium on July 1st. And if you haven't seen a show outdoors at the Palladium, drink, you guys. Winded drink. You're going to need a refill. Yeah, exactly. I so understand. You are in good company, says Mr. Fitz. You have been hanging around Mike Shue and inhaled his greenery. Yes, exactly. F-bomb, woohoo, it's okay. You are forgiven. Non-point and nothing more. When I was a kid, I asked my teenage aunts because I thought Led Zeppelin and Def Leppard were the same band. I got a lecture. I've never made that mistake since. I was a kid. But yeah. I mean, they're both British, but no. All right, continuing on. MGM Music Hall, the Pixies coming up June 8th. Les Claypool and the Flying Frog Brigade coming up June 29th. Yellow Card July 9th. Noel Gallagher on July 15th. Mastodon and Gojira. 2 shows, by the way. They announced a second show on August 21st and also Beck on September 5th. So a lot of shows coming up fast. And all of these shows are up on the concert calendar as well. House of Blues, the Joe Perry Project on April 16th, Thrice on June 2nd, and the Struts. If you've never seen them live, we had Luke Spiller on the show. They're going to be at the House of Blues on July 18th. And new releases coming up on Friday, another big day. Of course, last Friday was a huge release day with everything from Pop Evil and Theory of a Dead Man, the live Black Crowes, and U2. This week, we got the new one from Baby Metal coming out on Friday called The Other One. Depeche Mode releasing Memento Mori, which, by the way, is also a title of a Flyleaf album. Fall Out Boy, So Much for Stardust comes out on Friday. And the 50th anniversary box set of Dark Side of the Moon comes out this Friday as well. And if you want to win one of these, go to pikefm.com because we are giving away one of these amazing Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon box sets, and they're not cheap. So if you want to win one, open up another browser window, go to pikefm.com and enter to win that because the box set comes out this Friday. All right. Mail call. And Wednesday took off. We'll see if she comes running back when she hears me opening the mail. Normally, she falls asleep in here. Oh, that little shit. She just came back. Not even kidding. You heard me opening the mail, didn't you? Come over here. Come here. Come see what you got in the mail. I got something for you. Wednesday and Carrie. Oh, my God. Where do you find these? Wednesday and Carrie, Pugs and Kisses on St. Patrick's Day. Have the best day from Denise. Not only did she send Drooly Hound Cider. Let me say that again. Drooly Hound Cider. In case you're looking for them. She also somehow found me Pug St. Patrick's Day socks. Denise, where? Where do you find these things? Where? Wednesday, you see my socks? It has a pug on them. See them? See them? Boop. I booped your nose. Did you see your new toys? They have crinkles. This is the strawberry daiquiri one, Wednesday. Get the little plastic nubbies out of there. Do you want to smell? Or do you want the wild cherry drooly hound cider, Wednesday? Or do you want the lime hound cider? Where's the squeaker in this one? Oh, there it is. There you go, Wednesday. You want to play with your toys? You spoiled brat, you. Thank you, Denise. I seriously have no idea where you find these things. I'm assuming it's the interwebs, but this, look at that. By the way, one of the guys, and he may be at the Legion, one of the guys I was in Afghanistan with that has Wednesday's brother, Gus, sent me a recent picture. I'll ask him if it's okay if I share photos of Gus here in the war room. But it's Wednesday's brother, and he is getting the same little white spot under his chin that Wednesday has, and it's crazy. We're actually talking about putting together another sibling play date so that Wednesday can run around with Gus, right? Do you want to see Gus again? Yeah. We did that during the pandemic and let the dogs run around together, and it was so adorable. There must be a secret pug store, says Michael. Yeah, exactly. Jessica says Target, Walmart, or Amazon for sure. Denise says, I don't remember. It's seriously out of control where you guys find this stuff. It makes me so happy. So that's, wait, Wednesday, do you want me to keep rubbing your butt? Is that what you want? Is that what you want? Did you guys see the Instagram reel, by the way, of Wednesday pawing at me while we were watching TV? If you didn't see it, it's on my Instagram. She would not stop clawing me. Okay, the guitar picks are in, by the way, and I didn't even think to bring one in here with me, but, well, that's what they look like. They're in. They're available in the store. I'm selling them as 10 packs because I think trying to sell like one or two of them is just kind of ridiculous, and every guitar player I know can't have enough guitar picks. So these are players' picks. Now, one of the things I can do, and I still might do, is design different ones, and they actually have the ability to put a little hole on them so that you can actually make a necklace out of them. So I may make purple guitar picks at some point soon that have a hole in them so that you can actually like make necklaces out of them and stuff. But the guitar picks are in. They're available in 10 packs. And so if you know a guitar player, if you are a guitar player, if you're trying to encourage someone to learn how to play the guitar, Mistress Carrie guitar picks are available online in the store at mistresscarrie.com. What is becoming one of my favorite things, and I cannot thank you guys enough, I love the pictures. So what I asked you guys to do is that as you buy things or win things, t-shirts, hats, whatever it is from the store, I want you guys to show me what you're doing with them and where you're wearing them, and to send me the pictures so that I could start a gallery on Facebook called Show Me Your MC. And every week I want to be able to celebrate different people on the show as well. So this week, speaking of Taylor Hawkins, here's Barbara in California wearing the tank top with the devil horns at the Taylor Hawkins tribute concert. And then here's Christy at the Jane's Addiction show earlier this month with the Mistress Carrie clear plastic concert bag. She's out in LA. She ordered it. She sent me an email with the picture and said it worked perfect, because the bag restrictions for venues is not exclusively a Massachusetts thing. This is a national thing, and it's not going anywhere. And if you need to bring things in, you know, if you're wearing pants that don't have pockets, if you don't want to wear a jacket, especially as the summer concerts come around at the Xfinity Center or the Palladium Outdoors, you're not wearing a jacket. And if you don't want to put your cell phone or your ID to be able to drink, or your debit card or cash, whatever it is, your car keys, if you don't have the pockets, you've got to kind of find a way to bring this stuff into the shows with you. And so that's why we made the clear plastic concert and sporting event, because it's not just concerts, sporting events too. You can't bring stuff in. So if you're bringing kids to a sporting event, you want to be able to bring their stuff in, buy them for the kids, whatever. But that's Christy at the Jane's Addiction Show in Hollywood with the Mistress Carrie concert bag. And I absolutely love the pictures that you guys are sending me to show me your MC. Keep the pictures coming. I'm going to keep updating the gallery on Facebook, but I also want to be able to put them up here in the show. You're such a girl, says Lou. Make purple ones. Shannon, I think you're talking about the guitar picks. Yes, that's on my list. Chris says the Mojave Desert phone booth, it's not there anymore. After we made the trip out there, as the phone booth became more and more famous, not just because of us, but because of the internet, Pac Bell took the phone booth out. And so there's the only thing that's left are the phone poles and then the concrete pad where the booth used to be. But it's about a 45-minute drive out of Vegas, and I've always wanted to kind of go back. So Mark says, sent you a pic on Twitter. All right, let me go back and try to find it. Do me a favor, use either Patreon if you have a Backstage Pass, or use the message the studio button at mistresscarrie.com if you want to send me pictures, though, because sometimes if you tag me on social media, sometimes I miss the notifications and then I don't get the pictures. Bruins won 2-1. Fantastic. Let's see. Alexa says the bag is great. Some of the venues have you empty your pockets, and the clear bag is just so much easier. So yeah, it's just, you're emptying your pockets, like whatever. At least then you just got the bag. You can wear it crossbody. I made sure it had a strap long enough that guys could wear it crossbody, so it's not a fanny pack. But judging by how many of them people have ordered off the website, people are definitely recognizing that it's something. I mean, you might be diabetic. You might need to bring medications in with you. Whatever the reason is, you might just need to bring a bag in with you. So there you go. So keep the pictures coming. I absolutely love them. Show me your MC. Send the pictures in. If you're celebrating your birthday today, you are celebrating alongside Derek Whibley from Sum 41, who we were talking about is going out on the Offspring tour. And also, you were born on the same day as the late, great Eddie Money. So if you're celebrating your birthday today, cheers. Happy unbirthday to you, Keith. Cheers to you. Pics and pics getting confusing. Pictures, send me your pictures of you with the gear, and then the guitar pics are available on the website. Yes, not that confusing, smartass. Okay, if you don't have a Mistress Carrie Backstage Pass yet, our exclusive live stream for Backstage Pass holders is coming up on March 26th at 7:30. Also, you have the ability to submit podcast interview questions. So basically what I do is when I book interviews for the podcast in advance, when I have enough lead time, I let the Backstage Pass holders know that people are coming on the show so that they can submit questions. You also get travel blog updates. I definitely have some travel booked for later on this year. You're going to want a Backstage Pass for that, definitely. You also get early access to event tickets and concert information. And just when we're starting to plan events and stuff, which we're going to start being able to do more of this stuff coming up on the weekends this summer, you get early info on all of that. You also get exclusive concert ticket giveaways, and you can get tickets to go see Vivi, Enslaved, and Tarja all at Big Night Live. Those tickets are all available to Backstage Pass holders. And if you have a Backstage Pass, you just got a discount code to be able to get some guitar picks. The code is good until the end of this month. And that's also something when we launch new merch items that the Backstage Pass holders always get coupon codes to be able to buy the stuff as well at a discount. So if you don't have a Backstage Pass, you can get it on Patreon at Mistress Carrie. Here's all of the other ways that you can find me on social media. All the links are on mistresscarrie.com, so just go to the website. All the info is there. Let's see. Chris says, hi, Carrie. What's up, Chris? Went to send at the studio. Apparently, what am I doing? Oh, Betty wants to know, what am I doing wrong? So Betty, when you send me a message through the website, I can respond, and my response gives you the ability to send me a picture. So if you want to send me a picture, click the message the studio button. Let me know that you want to show me your MC, and I will make that easy for you. Bruins win, says Carrie. Backstage mass holders. Did I say that? Because if I said that, that's a hilarious slip of the tongue. If I didn't say that, that's friggin' hilarious. Backstage mass holders. Mass holes. Lou says, Carrie, adjust your posting rates. I want to buy the guitar picks, but they only offer... Oh, that's weird. Lou says they only offer postage for $29.74 FedEx flat rate. Well, I only do shipping. I might be able to fix it right here while I'm talking to you guys. I only do shipping through the post office. So right off the bat, there is definitely something wrong. So don't pay $29 to ship the guitar picks. That's obviously a mistake, and I can fix it right now. Hold on. Dun, 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 dun. I think I can fix it. If not, I'll fix it as soon as the show's over. Yeah, let me fix it when the show's over, but I will get that fixed. Don't buy the guitar picks until I get the shipping thing fixed, but I'm going to fix it as soon as the show's over. So sorry about the postage thing, Lou. I apologize for that, but I will get it fixed. It shouldn't be showing up like that because other people have bought guitar picks already and the shipping was fine. So that's kind of weird, but I will look into it for sure. Are you going to have guitar picks for sale at the Legion show? Yeah, I will for sure. A lot of the stuff is going to be available at the Legion event for sure. I'm not going to have everything, but I am definitely going to have some stuff for sure. The stuff that's easier to kind of bring in there. But there is going to be a Mistress Carrie merch table set up, so you'll be able to get them there. It's possibly through the post office then. Sorry. You should the only postage option should be priority mail. That should be the only thing. The flat rate shouldn't come up as an option because it's a box and the guitar picks come in an envelope because they're not that big. So let me adjust it. But yeah, it does. All the postage always goes through the post office. I don't use UPS or FedEx or, anything like that. I always use the post office. So let me look into it right now. All right, guys, that's the show. Don't forget, episode 146 of the Mistress Carrie podcast goes live at midnight tonight, featuring Johannes Eckerstrom from Avatar. And we'll be back next week with episode 226 of Cocktails in the War Room. It's kind of crazy, but that could also be the priority overnight mail, says Brenda. Yeah, but let me double check it. I'll look into it. But I appreciate you letting me know there might be an issue. Obviously, don't pay $30 to ship guitar picks. That's crazy. All right, good night, guys. Say good night, Wednesday. She says good night.